Hey folks, I'm Sarah and I'm on the 2025 jury for what I think is the best book prize for literary fiction from small presses. It's called the Republic of Consciousness Prize, United States and Canada, and it is dedicated to literary fiction from small presses in North America. Over the next few months, I will be sharing every single book nominated for the prize, and while I can't share my personal opinions on each book just yet, I will share enough details so that you can get to know the book and the publisher. Every book gets its very own video, and you are not going to want to miss a single one. Next up is book number 25, Strange and Perfect Account from the Permafrost by Donald Niedekker. It's translated by Jonathan Reeder and published by Sandorf Passage. And let's just take a moment and appreciate the colors on this cover. And also, those of you who've been here a little while know that I like to use like blank greeting cards as bookmarks so I can take notes, like this card that I've paired with the book. I mean, it's just so glorious. This novel is narrated by a nameless Dutch crew member who died in 1597 on a failed expedition to find a northeast passage from Europe to China, a real life expedition that actually happened. And he narrates this novel from the grave. And the narrator speaks from his grave 400 years after his death, from his grave that is located on the Arctic archipelago of Novaya Zemlya. And in those 400 years that he's spent in this frozen grave in the Arctic, he has witnessed everything that has happened around him, from wildlife sniffing at the snow covering his grave, to the Soviet gulags that were set up on the archipelago, to nuclear bomb testing sites, to the encroaching thaw of the ground, of the permafrost that is slowly making its way towards him and his grave. But he also, during this time, revisits his life in 16th century Amsterdam. He recalls memories from his childhood, memories of his adventurous father and his loving mother and his storytelling grandmother. And there's little glimpses here and there of what life might have been like in Amsterdam in the 1500s. But it's all very loose and wandering. And one reviewer commented that the narrator's reflections drift like blown snow. It's almost like because the narrator can no longer wander the earth, he's almost wandering back and forth through time and even between people, because there are some shifts in perspective here as well. So he's wandering through time and through people across these 400 years since his death. Donald Niedekker has been hailed as the Zen master of Dutch literature and is an award-winning author, including in 2023, Strange and Perfect Account from the Permafrost won the prestigious Bordewijk Prize, and the jury praised the novel as a scintillating ode to language and history, which at the same time astutely sheds light on our own times. A novel to freeze yourself to. And Sandorf Passage is a nonprofit that publishes work that creates a prismatic perspective on what it means to live in a globalized world. It is a home to writing inspired by both conflict zones and the dangers of complacency. One of my favorite books from the Republic of Consciousness Prize last year, and it was even shortlisted for the prize, was The Case of Cem, which interestingly also features narrators who are deceased. So let's talk about dead narrators. I would love to hear your examples of books you've read and loved that feature narrators who are no longer among the living. I feel like there are lots of really incredible examples out there. It's such a fun thing to encounter in fiction, in my opinion. So my other example is The Case of Cem, which is actually a chorus, a suite of dead narrators who are all kind of testifying in a trial almost in that novel. I'll leave a link to my video on that book below so you can check it out. But just would love to hear, in your opinion, what the impact of having a dead narrator is. Often I feel like, for example, in the case of this book, that it gives them some kind of omniscience almost, like this narrator can weave in and out of other
people's perspectives and can see beyond his own grave to what's happening in the world beyond. And also, as shown in this book, it can impact the narrator's relationship to time as well. Time has no meaning, or has a different meaning to a dead person than it would for a living person. They can move a bit more fluidly through time and through memory, and they can even, as in the case of this book and the case of Cem, have knowledge of events that have happened after their death, events that have happened around the world after they've left the world. I think it might also impact how we trust the narrator. I feel like there's a certain amount of authority that we give to someone who has made that passage through death, perhaps. Maybe there's more of a reason to trust their story, because why would they lie? They're dead. There's no reason for them to lie necessarily. But I'm not sure. I would love to hear your examples and kind of your experiences of reading fiction that feature a narrator who is no longer among the living. Love to hear your examples in the comments below, and this is my example for you. And that's just one of many incredible books nominated by one of many incredible publishers. The long list of 10 books is usually announced in mid-January-ish, but I guarantee you there are going to be more than 10 amazing books from these nominees. So if you love offbeat, under-the-radar literary fiction, you are going to want to follow along. Click above or below for the next nominated book. If I've filmed it, it'll be available there. If not, stay tuned for just a little while longer. And in the meantime, you can click the playlist below that will contain all of the nominated books that I've shared so far. Again, my name is Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.